Struggling to start your own clothing brand? Trust me, follow these 10 steps and I'll show you everything on how to start a successful brand.
Junior, aka Joseph Adenuga, left school with 1 GCSE self-raising flour, 2 eggs and a ruler. I went home straight to the computer. My mum told me to turn it down. A couple years later, I'm in the jeweler, picking up stuff that I only dreamed about being able to afford. I bought my dad a brand new car, straight off the showroom floor. It weren't a Porsche, but it meant the same thing to him. Stop smiling, dad, jump in the thing. Emotional, I wanna cry.
We started our clothing brand Episodes project 2 years ago now. We've managed to scale the brand exponentially, and we're fortunate to be at a point where we're both running the brand now completely full time. Done over thousands of orders worldwide, so I feel like I have some credibility on how to grow a successful clothing brand. But before we jump into the 10 steps, make sure to smash that subscribe button for more fashion and clothing brand tips.
Picking up stuff that I only dreamed about being able to afford. I bought my dad a brand new car.
So step number 1, it is your name and logo. Your name is honestly one of the most important parts of a clothing brand. It represents your whole brand image, so I definitely wouldn't rush this. When you're coming up with your clothing brand's name, you kind of want it to have some sort of a story. For example, our clothing brand is called Episodes Project. We realize there's so many talented graphic designers out there in the world, but they don't have a clue how to make clothing. So we wanted to turn their art and turn it into real life clothing. So each collaboration is a new collection, which is called a new episode, and each one is a new project. So Episodes Project, and then we have like episode 1, which is a collection, episode 2 is a collection, episode 3, episode 4, and we're currently working on episode 5. When it comes to thinking of a name, I'd recommend making up a single word or using a double-barreled word, for example, like cold laundry, gallery department, because most single words will already be taken. Always make sure to do your background checks. I'm 100% certain that you'll think of a name and it will already be taken. It's so frustrating, but you just gotta keep moving forward. I'd also recommend making a mock-up t-shirt design with your brand's name. You always want your brand's name to look good on a t-shirt. Our logo is much harder than coming up with a name, so I think logos can come in the future. And once again, definitely don't rush this. And if you're still struggling to come up with a name for your clothing brand, I've made a whole separate video on the best strategy to come up with a name. I'll link it down below.
Picking up stuff that I only dreamed about being able to afford. I bought my dad a brand new.
Step number 2 is the business fundamentals. This involves setting up your social media pages, so your Instagram, your TikTok, your YouTube, your Reddit, your Facebook. Next up is grabbing your website domain, so go on websites such as GoDaddy, search up your brand name, and usually get .com. Realistically, you want to be paying less than £10 for your domain. And then finally, it's your email, so you can do Google Mail, Outlook, Yahoo Mail, or whichever one suits you best.
Picking up stuff that I only dreamed about being able to afford. I bought my dad a brand new car.
Step number 3, now that you have a brand, it comes to designing your first product. The best platforms to use to design your products, you've got Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop, you've got Canva, you've got Procreate. The more graphic design skills you have, the better you will be at designing, but if you do want to learn, there's so many tutorials online. I'll put a list of useful video examples in the description box below. And when it comes to designing your first product, you want to have a wow factor, a unique selling point. You don't just want to slap your brand's name or logo on a t-shirt, because why would anyone want to buy your brand name over like Supreme, Palace, Represent? Like, your brand has nothing better than their brand. You've got no lifestyle behind it, no story behind the brand. You really need your first product to have some wow factor. For example, our first product for Episodes Project, we made this Fight Club tapestry sweatshirt. As you can see, it's such a unique material. Fight Club is such an iconic film. We've got Brad Pitt on the front, we've got the frayed collar, and on the back, the things you own end up owning you. The more wow factor in your first product, the more likely your brand's gonna be successful. And if you do struggle with designing, you can always go on websites such as Fiverr and pay people at a cheap price to design your first piece of clothing.
Picking up stuff that I only dreamed about being able to afford. I bought my dad a brand new car.
Moving on to step number 4, and that is manufacturing and sampling. So there's 2 types of manufacturing. You have blanks and you have cut and sew. So blanks is a wholesale supplier who has a variety of different blank clothing items, such as like blank hoodies, blank t-shirts, blank joggers, blank cargos, and you can basically purchase these blank items in different colors. They ship them to you, and then you organize your own printing and your own inside labels. Blanks is the perfect route for beginners because you can get your clothing made super quickly. You don't have to send over all the measurements, the tech pack, etc. The only negative is being a bit more expensive, and other brands could be selling the exact same hoodie as you, so you don't stand out. And that moves on to the step number 2, which is cut and sew. And this involves where you're making your piece from scratch. You choose the material, you choose the measurements, you choose the weight, you choose the wash. Everything needs to be done and created in a tech pack. This can be much more complicated, so I'd probably advise starting with blanks and then eventually getting into cut and sew. But if you want to start out as professional as possible, I'd advise doing cut and sew. All of our stuff for Episode Project, like the piece I'm wearing right now, is all cut and sew. When it comes to finding manufacturers, obviously that's the secret sauce for every clothing brand owner. I'm not going to tell you who our supplier is. The countries which do have good clothing manufacturers, you've got China, you've got Turkey, you've got Italy, you've got Pakistan. However, you can get stuff made in your own country, such as the UK and the US, but it'll be a lot more expensive. The process of finding your own manufacturer should be down to you. It's definitely possible. If I managed to do it myself with Episodes Project, then you can too. And then it comes to sampling, and that involves buying one piece from your supplier, and then it comes in person. You can see the quality, see the fit, see what you like, and then if you love it, then you order your higher quantities. I would always recommend getting a sample in because you should always try before you buy. So one of the biggest questions is, what quantity should I order on my first drop? I'd always recommend going lower, so for example like 25 to 50 units. I think it's much more beneficial to sell out of your product and then have demand and scarcity than to order too many and then have sitting product and then having to put it on sale. It doesn't look good on your brand image.
Picking up stuff that I only dreamed about being able to afford. I bought my dad a brand new car.
So step number 5 comes to the printing method. There's 5 main methods. There's screen printing, there's D2G, there's vinyl, there's heat press, and there's embroidery. I'll be doing a whole separate video on the benefits and the flaws of all the 5 different printing methods.
Picking up stuff that I only dreamed about being able to afford. I bought my dad a brand.
So step number 6 is the basic equipment you'll need for your clothing brand. First, you'll need a laptop. Second of all, you'll need a printer. I'd advise eventually getting a thermal printer. It's much cheaper, you don't have to pay for ink, and it prints off all your shipping labels. You also want to get poly mailer bags to ship your clothing. I'd advise getting thank you cards made up. You can go to websites such as Vistaprint, and you can give your customers a discount code for their next purchase. Mail sacks are also useful to hold all your parcels. You can get these for free at your post office. And then a few other bits such as like tape measure, scissors, and lint roller.
Picking up stuff that I only dreamed about being able to afford. I bought my dad a brand new car.
So step number 7, that is building your website. I'm assuming majority of you want to be selling online because you can sell 24/7. The main platforms you've got are like Shopify, Squarespace, Wix, there's so many more. I'd honestly advise Shopify. And starting out, I'd use a free theme. It's really easy to do. You can probably set up a whole website in less than 2 to 3 hours.
Picking up stuff that I only dreamed about being able to afford. I bought my dad a brand new car.
So step number 8, one of the most important parts and the most exciting parts, it is the clothing brand drop. Starting off with the photography side, you want to do 2 different photo shoots. You have the ecom photo shoot, which is shot like in a studio or against a plain blank wall, and these will be your website shots. So you'll shoot flat lays, you'll shoot simple on body, the details, how it fits on a model. I'd advise using a professional camera or professional photographer for your ecom shoots. You want your photos to be crisp as possible and your website to look professional. Moving on to the second style of shoot, which is my favorite, it is the lifestyle or editorial shoot. This can be shot on a camera or an iPhone. You want this to look as organic as possible. Aim to shoot in like cool and unique locations, something that matches the ethos of your brand. I'll put up some examples of some of our photo shoots. For example, we shot our summer Scarface shirts in like an old cigar shop. It matched the whole aesthetic of like gangsters smoking cigars, drinking whiskey. And these shoots are sick for social media. They make your brand look cool as fuck, and I definitely recommend doing these because honestly the whole process is so fun. Once all the content's done, you now want to work on the products. You want to get your measurements, you want to create a size guide, you want to write down a product description with all the details. I'd always recommend listing the height and the measurements of the model. It really helps the buyer's experience.
Picking up stuff that I only dreamed about being able to afford. I bought my dad a brand new car.
So comes number 9, this is my favorite stage, and that is marketing. It's one of the most important parts to growing a successful clothing brand. If you have a really good product but no one sees it, your brand is not going to grow. Social media is one of the best tools for marketing because it's completely free and you can hit so many people across the world. Content is definitely key. I'd recommend posting a lot, usually every single day. I'd use Instagram as like your portfolio, so your high-end stuff, making it look super professional. TikTok is where you do a bit more of just short form content, trends, and just get as much out as possible. And then YouTube is your long form content, more storytelling. You can use other stuff such as like Facebook groups, Discord chats, and Reddit. One key tip which I think definitely works, it is showing the process of your brand, like the design process, packing the orders, everything behind the scenes. I feel like the more transparent you are with your clothing brand, the more people buy into it. Next form of marketing, it is social media influencers. You send your piece of clothing for free in return that they do some content. This is a great way to promote your product organically. The next form of free marketing is email. You should definitely utilize this, build your email list and send it out every single time you're doing a clothing drop. As your clothing brand grows, you'll grow a bigger and bigger email list. And as your clothing brand gets bigger, I definitely recommend getting the app Klaviyo. It's probably the best email software you can get. And then the final form of advertising it is paid advertising. So you can use Facebook ads or Meta ads, TikTok ads, or Google ads. When you're first starting out, you want to try and be organic, but if you want your brand to be seen by more people, I would definitely recommend doing paid social ads. we currently outsource ours to an agency. If you believe in your products, I definitely recommend doing paid ads because there's only so many people you can reach organically, so you need paid ads to reach that larger audience.
Picking up stuff that I only dreamed about being able to afford. I bought my dad a brand new car.
And step number 10, that is fulfillment and shipping. You can find so many shipping providers online, such as like Royal Mail, UPS, DHL, DPD, FedEx, and you just message them, they'll send over some rates, and then you find the best one that suits your brand. So right now at the studio, this is where we package and fulfill all our orders. To start things off, we print off all the packing slips. This tells us exactly what the customer's bought, and it's perfect for getting all the items prepared. But then I just go through and start filling up the packing box. We've got medium frank, then we've got small frank, and just repeat the whole process until you've done all the orders. Got the bins. So here we have all the shipping labels, the packing slips, and then all of the orders. So in here we keep all our supplies. We've got mini thank you cards, we've got the big thank you card with a discount code, we've got stickers, just a little added touch, and we've got the frosted bag, and then we've got the poly mailers. That's how you pack an order.
Picking up stuff that I only dreamed about being able to afford.
Step number 11, these are just a few important lessons. Number 1, you always want to have good customer service. Always reply to your customers on email efficiently as possible. Always try to ship your products out as fast as possible. Try to think of it from a customer's perspective. If you were the customer, how fast would you want your item? And how fast would you want a reply if you had a problem? Next, it is choosing quality over quantity. You want a product which doesn't shrink after a few washes, wear and tear after like a year. You want a product which people are going to talk about, because word of mouth is the best form of marketing. So those are the 10 steps on how to actually start a clothing brand. Let me know if you think I missed anything in the comment section down below. I feel like I've hit everything. And if you did enjoy this video and get a lot of value, make sure to give it a thumbs up, drop a comment, and hit that subscribe button. If you do want to support the Clothing Brand Episodes project, use the code YouTube10 to get 10% off your order. Make sure to follow me on Instagram. I post daily and you get that better insight of my actual life. But I'll see you on the next one.